makes you so sick at heart that you can't take part. You can't even passively take part.
Every time there is a school shooting or mass killing or some other act of domestic terrorism in the US, they always tend to blame the same things. And at one point it was heavy metal, then it was rap, and video games have also been one of the long-standing complaints. And it seems to me that this is just basically conservative parents and pundits wanting to blame things for stuff that they don't want their kids doing. So this is the latest and greatest, I must add, from Inside Edition, which talked about some of the Michigan school shooters' gaming habits. And this is hilarious.
In the wake of the school shooting in Michigan that left 4 students dead, 15 school districts across the Detroit metro area were closed today because of threats of violence on social media. All this coming as we've learned more about the 15-year-old now charged as an adult with first-degree murder and terrorism. The prosecutor says it was premeditated, pointing to what she describes as his disturbing social media posts.
Police say they have found a horde of graphic journal entries and disturbing videos made by the accused school shooter. I spoke with Sheriff Michael Bouchard.
I would characterize a lot of the stuff that we've now seen as dark and as cold-blooded.
One post from Ethan Crumbley declares, "Now I am become death, the destroyer of worlds."
Now, have you heard that phrase before? You probably have if you know anything about history. That was a famous phrase that Robert Oppenheimer, the head of the Manhattan Project, thought of. It came to his head when he first saw the very first atomic bomb test, the Trinity test. And it was a phrase that he had read in some Hindu scripture. So that's really where the phrase comes from, but not for this reporter.
See you tomorrow, Oxford. The quotation can be found in a gory video game.
I am become death, the destroyer of worlds.
That's Fallout 4. Now, Fallout 4 is a post-apocalyptic action RPG. Is it gory? Yeah, it kind of is, but then you kind of expect any game with that kind of, post-apocalyptic wasteland setting to be somewhat gorier than average. But on the whole, it's a pretty harmless game. I mean, it's a very plot-driven game. I'm a big fan of the Fallout series, by the way. I've played all of them. I really like 4. I know some people don't like 4 as much, but I really loved it. And it's just a series that on the whole just doesn't have much gratuitous violence. I mean, you have to use violence to progress, but it's not Grand Theft Auto, okay? There's a purpose to everything. So it's incredibly weird that they just also, how did they remember that this phrase was stated once by an NPC in one particular quest? This is weird. This is just completely random. So what they're basically implying is that Fallout 4 popularized "I am become death," which clearly it didn't.
Several years ago, Crumbley made this video showing off his collection of violent games.
See, Grand Theft Auto, I do agree that there is much more gratuitous violence. But even then, come on, if every person who played GTA took that violence to heart, you'd have, mass killings every hour. I mean, millions of people play these games, and they know that it's just a game.
Got Battlefield 4. Comment if you want to play that one.
I hopefully will get to another Nazi Zombies video.
And they're just plugging this in as oh, he did Nazi stuff. Look, I'm not defending this guy. I think what he did was absolutely appalling. But seriously, Like, just because you play the Nazi zombies mode in Call of Duty, you're a Nazi mass murderer? Are you kidding me?
2 weeks before the shooting, Crumbley commented on this YouTube video of a 9mm gun being fired at a shooting range. He wrote, "This is the gun I'm going to use," with a smiley face. His father bought another gun, the one used in...
So, all of this sort of blaming video games, and just like they did back in the day of blaming heavy metal, you know, in the 80s, it was the satanic messages that you would listen to in Judas Priest records if you played them backwards. Then in the 90s, it was gangsta rap. And then obviously video games. You had Doom, and the Columbine shooters apparently made a level of their school in a Doom level editor. All of this, just, you know, the common denominator is conservative parents not wanting their kids to listen to heavy metal, rap, or play video games. And really, the issue here is what kind of culture was groomed into this kid by his parents. So that had much more to do than the type of video games that he played. And I would think that just being around real guns at such an early age and sort of normalizing their use is so much more damaging to your psychology than playing any number of video games, regardless of how big the gun is, how many monsters you kill, or whatever. So, yeah.
The shooting on Black Friday.
Sir, do you understand all the charges against you?
Yes, I do.
Yesterday, his parents watched on a Zoom link from their car as he was arraigned.
You are the parents of Ethan Crumbley, is that correct?
Yes, correct.
That is correct.
I'm Jennifer Crumbley.
James Crumbley.
Now they may face charges too.
Trying to pass.
This video shows him shooting hoops with his buddies, a regular kid from the neighborhood.
Today we
Before he played Fallout 4.
are doing a little basketball game. 2 against 2 right now.
Now Ethan Crumbley is in isolation in an adult jail.
Just because he spent hours in the Fallout wasteland.
A candlelight vigil to honor the victims is planned for downtown Oxford.
All right. That's all I need to say about this. This is ridiculous. This is ridiculous. So many things that the media can bring up, but they chose this to find a phrase that has nothing to do with Fallout 4 and then just assume that it was because he saw it in that game that it led him to mass murder. So yeah, I guess things don't change. But yeah, if you like this video, please like, please share. Most importantly, please subscribe. And I think I'm gonna play some Fallout 4 now. Got some settlements to finish. See you next time.